Betrayal is one of the most destabilizing forms of pain, not only because of what was done, but because of what it changes inside you. When someone betrays you, whether in love, friendship, family, or work, the pain reaches deeper than the event itself and touches your sense of trust, safety, and emotional orientation in the world. It creates a moment where reality no longer feels stable, because someone you relied on crossed a boundary you believed was shared, and that sudden rupture leaves you questioning not only them, but yourself. One of the reasons betrayal hurts so deeply is that it creates confusion alongside pain. You are not only dealing with anger or sadness, but also with disbelief, self-doubt, and an urge to replay the past in search of answers. You may find yourself asking how it happened, when it changed, or whether you should have seen it coming, and over time these questions can quietly turn inward, leading to self-blame. Forgiveness cannot begin while you are still punishing yourself for trusting, because trust is not a flaw, but a reflection of your capacity for connection. Before forgiveness becomes possible, it is important to understand that betrayal creates an emotional shock. Your nervous system reacts as if something unsafe has occurred, even if the danger is no longer present, which is why reminders, memories, or similar situations can trigger strong emotional reactions long after the event. This does not mean you are weak or stuck, but that your system is trying to protect you from being hurt again. Forgiveness begins when you recognize this reaction without letting it define your future. Forgiving betrayal does not mean denying the pain or rushing toward peace. It requires honesty, first with yourself, about what you feel and what was lost. Betrayal often carries grief, not only for the relationship as it was, but for the version of reality you believed in before it happened. Allowing yourself to feel that grief without judgment is a necessary step, because unacknowledged pain does not disappear, it only finds quieter ways to stay present. One of the most important distinctions to make is between forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is an internal process that releases you from emotional captivity, while reconciliation is a shared process that requires accountability, transparency, and consistent change from the other person. These two are not dependent on each other. You can forgive without restoring access, without rebuilding trust, and without continuing the relationship, and doing so does not make forgiveness incomplete. In many cases, forgiveness and distance exist together, and that balance is not a failure, but a form of self-respect. Betrayal also creates a strong desire for understanding or closure, often in the form of explanations or apologies. While accountability can be meaningful, forgiveness cannot depend on someone else's awareness or remorse, because waiting for the perfect response keeps you emotionally tied to the person who hurt you. Forgiveness becomes possible when you accept that your peace cannot be postponed until someone else changes, understands, or validates your experience. Forgiving betrayal is rarely a single decision, but a process that unfolds in layers. You may forgive intellectually while your emotions take longer to follow, and this does not mean you are doing it wrong. Healing happens gradually as your mind and body learn that the threat has passed, and each time you choose not to reopen the wound, not to rehearse the story, and not to fuel resentment, you are practicing forgiveness again. Over time, these small choices create distance between you and the pain, allowing it to lose its grip. There is also a form of forgiveness that is directed inward, toward the version of yourself that trusted, hoped, or stayed longer than you now think you should have. Letting go of self-judgment is essential, because blaming yourself for being betrayed reinforces the belief that openness is dangerous. Forgiveness in this sense means recognizing that you acted with the information and emotional awareness you had at the time, and that learning does not require punishment. As forgiveness deepens, something subtle begins to change. The memory of betrayal remains, but it no longer dominates your thoughts or dictates your reactions. The emotional charge softens, and the need to explain, justify, or relive what happened gradually fades. You begin to remember without reliving, and the pain shifts from something that controls you to something that informs you. This is not forgetting, but integration, where the experience becomes part of your story without being the center of it. Forgiving betrayal does not mean returning to who you were before, but becoming someone more grounded, more discerning, and more aware of your boundaries. It allows you to move forward without carrying suspicion into every new connection, and without letting one experience define your entire relationship with trust. Forgiveness protects your future by preventing the past from repeating itself internally, even when circumstances change externally. In the end, forgiveness is not about restoring what was broken with someone else, but about restoring what was disrupted within you. It is the decision to stop allowing betrayal to occupy emotional space it no longer deserves, and to reclaim your energy, clarity, and sense of inner stability. Forgiveness does not erase what happened, but it changes how you carry it, transforming pain from a burden into a lesson and allowing life to feel open again. If this reflection resonated with you and you'd like to continue exploring forgiveness, healing, and inner peace in a calm and honest way, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos and can return to these conversations whenever you need them.